Hey guys, welcome to another Hollywood show. So as promised, this is the Farm Jam show. And the reason for that is this is the big one. This was the double points round. It's the first time Farm Jam have ever done a double points round of the championship. And it was so that everyone could have a really tight end to the season. It really added a lot of flavor to the championship, a little bit of drama, and a little bit of intrigue as well. Watch out for the junior gates. We are so pumped when you see gates this big at the late part of the season. And literally, this is like the closing stage of the season. There's only like 4 more races in the country. So it's really cool to see the juniors lining up massive. Couple of big crashes coming out of the senior gate, but that's always what happens when those extra points are on the line. I am happy to report, though, that all riders that went down are all okay. Alice Moy, couple of scrapes, couple of broken bones, but that's racing. We don't like it, but that's all good when we see the riders get up and can carry on. Yeah, they're going to have a funny tan during Christmas, but other than that, we'll see them back on the bikes for sure. Without further ado, this is the Farm Jam finale. The big one, double points at the Dam. Enjoy.
This Farm Jam racing action is proudly brought to you by Vans Racing in association with Subaru Nelspruit. After what has been arguably the best Farm Jam season to date, we end here at round number 5 on the banks of the Middleburg Dam. It's the final round of the season and it's double points, meaning it's one of the most important events of the year. Everyone is here to get those final points tallies done and wrap up the championships, get their positions dialed, and know who they're fighting against next year. Middleburg Dam would once again give us incredible terrain to work with. Not starting on the beach this time, starting in the forest, but a spectacular terrain being laid out for the juniors, the ladies, and all of the senior motorcycles for the final round of the Farm Jam Hare Scrambles in 2022. Everyone was locked and loaded, and good to go as always.
Good morning, guys. We are at Middleburg Dam for round 5 of the Farm Jam Championships. This is the final round for the year, and we're super excited. We got a great loop for the guys. Juniors are going to have a technical one, and the big guys are going to have 26 Ks of technical riding. So it's going to be a good day out.
The morning session was all about the junior categories, the 85 pros and the pro ladies, and everyone was getting a little bit nervous because they knew a good day could mean a championship. A bad day could mean everything that you've worked for the whole season could well be lost. After a very good riders briefing and the final high fives, hugs and kisses, everyone headed to the line to drop that flag for the final time in 2022. Heading down to the line, and we talk about the big loop to start things out, meaning it is the Pro 85s and the ladies, and ladies would be first off out. After, of course, Team Van der Westhuizen show us the way. The first flag drop of the finale was a gnarly one, as 3 of our top contenders got tangled up. Marissa Van Rooyen, Roxy Nell, and Von der Moe, the whole shot superstar, leaving Catherine Mostert to live out large. Darren Lee Pruis was there. 3 riders got out and got gone. The rest would have to do the big chase down. Hot on their heels was going to be the Pro 85s, where Mitch Fallon, now back in fighting spirit. What could have been if he had been fully fit the whole way through the season? He's out of the championship, and that championship is going to go down to Miguel Cavina and Stian, the Stalker, Van der Heever. Those were the kids to watch out for on that 85 Pro gate. And then back onto the biggest, scariest gate I've ever seen in my whole life. 85 juniors, giving us well over 40 kids. That's right, 40 kids going out there. 1 or 2 of them going down in a blaze of glory early on. But it was all about Jaden Els getting the job done out front and running the numbers. Whole shot was more than key with a gate that big and wild. 65 Pro gate. Jean-Luc Van Vesthuizen getting a good pull off the line, but it was all about GJ Kutsia getting the job done. Liv Stubbs was there, as well as Derek Milan and Mackenzie Bam. So it was going to be an interesting gate to see who was going to be out there, but whole shot superstar Kutsia looked like he had the bit between his teeth. And then the 65 junior gate. Gotta love this gate. There's nothing more fun than watching kids swing a leg for the first time and learning how to click gears. On this gate, the main man is Jean Blanche. He hasn't had it all his own way, but he has been predominantly the fastest guy out there. But now he's got Wilco Deploy from Rubine Racing to go at it with him. That's going to be an interesting dice to watch as the race unfolds. And then the 50cc gate, of course, with his sparring partner Wilco Deploy moving up and out into the 65s. It's all about Declan Richards. Whole shot on the money on paper. He was going to be a standout rider. It was going to be a race for second, third, and the minor placings. Declan Richards for Vans Racing on the Husky. Gone off the gate. Before we head out and pick up on all the action, we chat to Leon about the course.
Okay, in the morning, the Pro 85s and ladies is going to go out in the big loop. They're going to open up that loop for us. The weather is looking awesome, not too hot. I don't think it's going to rain today, but it's going to be interesting for them. Our numbers are really looking good for this time of the year. It's the end of the race season. You know, everyone that's in the championships are here. The rest of the guys will probably come back next year and start racing again. I think we're just over 250 entries, so it's looking fantastic. Look, this won't be possible if the guys didn't support us. So a massive thanks to all the guys out there. We have such a big support, and you know, they come back every time, so we must be doing something right.
Yes, indeed. Farm Jam is all about family, and Middleburg Dam delivered the goods once again. It's tricky terrain, believe you me. A lot of grassland and scrubland with a lot of lurkers. They do catch you out, and the juniors and the ladies found that out the hard way in the morning session. But the track was laid out real well with a good flow, and once the riders had figured out lap number 1, the rest of the day just got better and better. The dust kicked up, but nothing too bad. Everyone was able to see their enemy, or their friends, and get them and go racing. Picking up on the ladder climb, starting out with the 50cc's. Good numbers on the page. We see great numbers on the 50s, but massive numbers on the rest of the junior gates. Michaela Gardner got herself inside of the top 6, chasing down onto the back wheel of number 5 on the day, going to Joshua Van Heerden, the number 10, starting to look strong as ever. Then we move up to one of the smaller kids out there, Neo Delira, getting looked after by his dad and walking away with his best ride of the season with a number 4 finish. That means Ian van Rensburg on the V38 gets his nose onto the podium at the final time of asking it, and that might be an important one as well. Double points, double points, double points. That's all you're going to hear me talk about on this show because they're so important. Jano Lombard, he can run with the best of them, but this time he had a relatively lonely second place ride. He put plenty of time into third place, but it was a full 10-minute lead that Declan Richards had come the end of play to put his name at the top of the pile. A super important victory at the season finale for the Farm Jam Hare Scrambles. Richards is the main man on the 50s. Here's confirmation of the lap times there. The top 2 riders tagging 5 laps. And when you talk about 5 laps, 10 minutes, that means 2 minutes a lap faster. That was Richards, faster than anyone else out there. Into the 65 juniors. Love this gate. Love to talk about new blood and new riders coming in. Remember, this gate was formed so that the kids coming out of the 50cc's, as well as getting used to the new format of Hare Scrambles, can cut their teeth before lining up onto the pro gate. Andreas Skippers got inside of a number 6 with Ethan Oberholzer getting it done with a number 5. Leon Van Kerk, even though he took a bit of a dive, getting it done with a number 4 ride. Cool to see these kids really developing within the sport. Zack Attack Stubbs, love saying this kid's name, love watching him ride. He's been one of those cool riders developing nicely. As he gets a little bit taller, a little bit stronger, things will get easier for Zack Attack. For now, third place shows that he's got it going on. Jean Blanche, has been the man waving the flag for the Yammies the whole way through the season on the 65s. Here, he got a number 2 spot, and it was an incredible ride that'll still stand him in good stead as far as the championship goes, but one rider was better, one rider was faster, and that is Wilco Deploy. Deploy still getting himself used to the 65s, but he looks like a seasoned veteran at the moment, as he put around about 2 minutes into his closest rival. Cool to see the Rubine Racing star developing, and here's a confirmation of that 2-minute gap win. You can see those guys with the standouts. Not too far off the back wheel was Zack Attack Stubbs in a number 3 spot, beating out on Van Niekerk, Oberholzer and Schippers. Start to get into the fast kids now, the eye-wateringly fast and wild 65cc pros. John-Luc van der Westhuizen still cutting his teeth and trying to develop on the 65, and he still is one of the smallest dudes out there. 6th place going to the Vans Racing star. Tian Tienpont, she is so cool on this bike. Looks like she's about to make the move up pretty soon into the 85. Maybe the pros, maybe the juniors. We'll see how she feels come the end of the Christmas season. Ruvan de Beer, always inside the top 5. Once again, a number 4 ride. And then Mackenzie Bam, 3rd place. But remember, she isn't at full fitness. She is here to pick up the points, try and stay on the numbers for the championship. 3rd place on double points still means it's a bag full of sweets for her. Liam Schippers, what can you say about this kid? The last couple of rounds of the championship, he has been coming on song and coming on strong. 2nd place here and not too far off the win as well. It was only about a minute and a half. But GJ Kutsia stole the cheese, got the whole shot, ran the fastest laps on his gate. No one ever saw him after the flag dropped. And here's confirmation of him taking a 7-lap race win. The only rider on the same lap was Liam Schippers. Those guys were head and shoulders ahead of the best of the rest, which was Mackenzie Bam in the number 3. And then climbing the ladder. Remember, this was the biggest, wildest gate. Over 40 riders going out there, so to make a top 10 is huge. To make the top 6 is massive. 85 juniors, Oliver Whitehouse sneaking it up inside of a top 6 with MJ Van Aert taking it number 5. These guys were lit the whole way around the track. A lot of them putting in lap times that will see them moving up into the pro category very soon. Trompie van der Heerve on the J141. You could see a lot of bent bars. A lot of the rocks got up close and personal. Some of the riders coming back with stories about rocks jumping out of nowhere and hitting their bars and hitting their legs. Rocks do these crazy things towards the end of the season. I think they just get bored. Willem Buerter squeaking it inside of a top 3 with Via Human on the 728 into a number 2 spot. That's one of the best rides we've seen on the season out of him. And then Jaden Els looking all like Ricky Carmichael, another rider that went down. Check out the bent bars, and he still walked away with the win. Believe you me, it is tough to ride a bike when your bars aren't set how you need them, and those things are spaghetti. It was still a win though, but look at it, 21 seconds. Jaden Els just squeaking it ahead of Via Human, Buerter, van der Heerve, Van Aert and Whitehouse. So from the 85 juniors onto the big loop. Remember, these guys ran the same loop as the pros would ride in the afternoon and the ladies. And the top time was the fastest time of the morning session. Ron Kruger didn't find the track to his liking, dropping down to number 6. He wouldn't have been happy about that. Rekard Webster, who is a local superstar, will be relatively happy with the number 5, although he would have hoped to have run inside the top 3 based on previous seasons of racing. Mitch Fallon for Vans Racing on the Husky, even though he got the cheese and got the whole shot, he did fade back. He had some problems late on in the race, dropping down to a number 4 spot. Sean Katsivas running inside the top 3 once again. He's good for a top 3 in the championship. He's been rock solid, consistent, and bringing home the bacon at every single round. So Katsivas will be rewarded with a high finish come the end of the season. Coming into this championship on this gate, just based on the fact that he's a well-rounded rider, he's tall and he's very strong. Miguel Cavina was looking to walk away with the number 1 spot, but towards the end of the season, there's one rider that's been chasing him hard and giving him hell. Cavina takes another number 2 spot here, and Stian van der Heerve is the only rider on the 85 pros on the big loop to go 4 laps deep. That means he put the big hurt on his closest rival in the championship. Stian, the stalker, van der Heerve hammers the nail, goes 4 laps, everyone else on 3 laps, Cavina, Katsivas, Fallon, Webster and Kruger the best of the rest, but the stalker on top at the final time of asking. And on to our ladies. Remember, a couple of these ladies went down hard straight out of the gate. One of those was one of the superstars, Marissa Van Rooyen. She picked herself up though and and got the points on the plate for a number 6 ride. Roxy Nell, maybe not too technical or not technical enough for Roxy. She likes it super tech, but it was relatively high speed in a couple of the zones. She dropped down to a number 5. That's one of her lowest finishes of the season since we saw her come back into the racing fold. Zoria Fari, although she went out of the gate running with the leaders inside the top 3, she did fade back towards the end of the race, dropping down to number 4. She eventually couldn't hang on to the back wheel of Darren Lee Pruss. Pruss also kept her nose clean in the early morning session, stayed out of the dust, didn't make too many mistakes, and allowed the race just to happen. She actually only got passed on the day by one rider, and that was the comeback coming out of Van der Moe. Moe, who is one of the whole shot superstars, unfortunately getting tangled up off the gate, but she did recover nicely and really rode hard to get herself into that number 2 spot. Remember, she's trying to defend a number 2 spot in the championship, but no one, and I mean no one, is going to catch Catherine Mostert. The reigning queen of Farm Jam continues her dominating form, going unbeaten on the season. Best lap times of the ladies, and once again, another win on her way to the crown in 2022. Look at the time gap, 3 laps counted for all of our ladies, and over 10 minutes was the winning margin between Mostert and Moe. She hammered the nail once again. So that's the morning session. We hold our breath and get ready for the massively stacked Pro Men's Gates in the afternoon. With record entries once again for the closing finale, the double points round, everyone was ready but nervous. We chatted to everyone before the race.
I think it's going to be quite flat and quite fast, and hopefully no mud. No mud, but it's going to be quite flat and fast. I don't think there's going to be much technical stuff or rocks or stuff.
I think it's going to be quite dry and dusty. It seems quite dusty at the moment, but I also think it's going to be quite fast. It doesn't seem like there's much copies or like any rocks here. So yeah, I think it's going to be quite fast.
I expect fast flowing sections, but a little bit of take in the rocks. Yeah, we expect some rain this morning, but yeah, we'll see what it goes. Yeah, but it's going to be dusty. I think, enjoying.
Yeah, I'm expecting a bit of faster sections with a bit of loose rocks. So yeah, hopefully it won't be too fast, but a bit technical for me. That would be, yeah.
Yeah, the last one with it's counting double points, just gonna take it easy and slow. Well, not slow, but just not make too much mistakes and see how it goes.
Oh yes, the nerves were jingling and jangling, especially in the pro categories, where everyone knew it was make or break, do or die time. The final slice of the pie was ready for serving. As always, S1 pros and the pro categories would be first on the gate. The big bangers took the flag. On the championship points, Rowan Smith is in a great position, but JC Nienhaber is coming on strong as well. It was Gas versus Kawasaki versus Shirko as Aldo Lowe was there in the number 3 spot. S2s, no one was going to bet against the Devastator, but remember, you had Peter Delport there, he is always solid and consistent, as well as an in-form Werner Nordia. S3 Pro category, Peltzer. He's taken an overall this year, he can run the numbers, he's the fastest of the 250s out there, and he had a good old buddy of his, Johnson, on his wheel. The senior category is going to be an interesting situation because this time it was all about Yanni Potgieter and the big 500 getting the cheese, getting the whole shot, but would he be able to survive the pressure coming from behind with a lot of the key riders in the championship pushing on hard? For the Masters category, similar situation. Kirk was back, but only around about 75% fit after being out with a long-term illness. He decided to come back into the fray, but remember it was all about Rudy Kavina, who has been in charge of the series so far. Himself and Tony Krief would be running the numbers inside the top 3. Then you start picking up the pieces into the S1 amateur category. The big bangers, the first of the guys to start tucking the front wheel, showing how changeable and unpredictable the terrain, even on the hole shots, were here at Middleburg Dam. Jason Lightfoot that got that big cheese. Miguel Da Silva got a rare hole shot this time around in the S2 AMs. Himself going out there and 4th place. A low start this time for Carl Potgieter, but he was trying to stay out of trouble. In the S3 amateurs, all about Raymond Language. The kid is on fire at the moment, seems to have really come to life in this particular format of racing here at the Hare Scrambles for Farm Jam. and he was out there and gone. And then you started rolling through the numbers into the novice categories. The S1 novices, the big bangers, most of them running out there on 300 smokers or big bang 450s, had it going on and gave us the biggest numbers on the gate. S2 novice, similar situation there as well, as everyone was going to be out there working hard on the short or relatively short 50-50 track. S3 novice, going to be hard to bet against the thunder that is a very in-form Jerome Stubbs. Bet your house on this kid going all the way next year as well. He's an absolute ripper. So everyone out on the gate. What did the day hold? Leon tells us how important it was.
Yeah, look, I think there's very little championships that have been decided yet. The double points make it interesting for the end of the year, and I think it's something good. You know, today the guys must go out and actually finish the race. It's not just about winning today. I mean, you can lose all your points if you throw it away today, or you can gain double points for the day. So I think the main thing for today would be for the guys to finish and just get good points on the board.
By the time the riders came in at the end of lap number 1, they knew what was going to be ahead of them. It was predicted that the pro category racers would be able to manage a 5-lap racing format, with the majority of riders able to do 4 laps out there in the amazing terrain of Middleburg Dam. This has quickly become a place of legendary status. Those that weren't in it to win it for the championship were just enjoying their time on the bars, out with their buds, and the family that is Farm Jam. The early predictions of rain were a long distance memory. That went jogging by as the temperatures came up, and everyone absolutely ripped the bars off, loving their time. They knew as well they had to pace it out because the night was going to be long as well. The double points prize giving as well as the championship prize giving to end off the season. For now though, we go out on the track and catch up with all the categories. Ladder climb starting out with the novice category, the S3 novice guys. We had good numbers on the page, but remember the top 3 guys were running for the big cheese and trying to get those championships nailed down. Gert Mayberg, we've mentioned his name a couple of times on the season. He was good enough to get 4 laps under his belt and get himself inside of top 6, with Ethan Peltzer on the Yami getting it done into a number 5. Good race time there as well after 4 laps, 2 hours 53. Vili Labuskakny took his 250 old Kawasaki all the way into a top 4. That's his best ride of the season so far as well, with Stian van der Heever into a number 3 ride. Stian's got that cool attacking riding style as well, knows exactly how to get the job done. Up the road from him, riding for Rubine Racing, was one of the late season pickups, Estian Kutzer. He's been a big surprise package, and although it's a number 2 spot, I think he's going to be a big threat on this championship and on this gate if he stays on the same CC machine going forward into next year. But as I said on the whole shot, it was going to be tough to bet against Stubby. Jerome Stubbs got it done and climbed to the top of the ladder. Stubbs is custom made for hare scrambling. Here's confirmation of his win at the double points round, putting just over 5 minutes into Kutzer, showing his dominating form at the dam. Up the ladder we go and start clicking through the gears. Jakob Mo gets the job done. Gene Pant Jakob, as he's going to be known from now on, showing what it is to come Farm Jam racing. You don't have to go factory pro. You can pitch up in a pair of jeans, as long as the boots are there and the gloves and the helmet. Alles is mooi. Shane Cilliers was a little bit more factory up the road in a number 5 spot position with course language. Rock solid as ever. Always points on the plate. Another good number. Number 4 this time around, with a full race time of 2 hours 31 with 4 laps counted. Up the road from him, Bertmo got it done A little bit faster as well, put about 9 minutes into course language to seal his deal for a number 3 spot. Neil Olofsson was there as well in second place, and he wasn't too far off the win this time around. This particular category has been dominated by one rider, and that is Lauren Shangguan. The L99 did a full 5 laps. He was almost exactly matched by Olofsson, but once again, Shangguan walking away with the top dollar. Look how close it was though. Only 2 minutes. Olofsson is definitely coming on strong. Watch out for him next year. And Bert Moe, his best result of the season, in 3rd place. Up the road we go then into the big bangers of the S1 novice category. This was an eye-wateringly busy gate and no one could call it. Sure, there's been some standout riders of the season, but all these guys inside the top 6. We're going to change up the championship as we moved forward into the closing stages of the year. Kyle Van Schuer into a number 6 ride, with Stefan van der Merwe taking a number 5. Interestingly enough, looked like the big bikes were not as at home on this course as the smaller bikes. That telling us in the lap count as well. All the top 6 riders going a 4-lap count. Donald Struthers was able to walk away with a number 4 ride, with Franco Marais into a number 3. And the times were extremely close inside the top 3. In fact, 1, 2 and 3 separated by less than 2 minutes. That's how we like it. Nice and tight at the top. So Franco Marais with a number 3 spot. Pierre Peens walked away and put his Yamaha, brand new Yamaha as well, into a number 2 spot. And Monis Dixon, suns out, guns out, with the big win. Love that category. Love to see the fact that you can rock up and roll out and still walk away with the big win. And how close was that? 10 seconds at the end of play between Dixon and Peens. Dixon taking it this time. That's the novice category done. We move up now into the amateurs. A little bit quicker, a little bit faster, and a little bit closer racing. Divan Petersen on the 444, getting it done to a number 6 ride. And he was the first of the riders, or the last of the riders, to tag a number 4 on the lap count. The rest of the riders inside the top 5 were able to walk away with super fast times, allowing them to take 5 laps on the tick. Vincent Labuskakny with a number 5, with Marlo Kutzer into a number 4 ride. Andrew Mostert, love watching this kid ride at the moment. Very improved with his riding style, taking a number 3 ride. 5 laps, 3 hours and 3 minutes. That is not hanging around. Raymond Language, even though he got the cheese on the whole shot, only dropped 1 position down to a number 2. And only lost the race come the end of play by around about 5 minutes to Hanro van der Sant. But Raymond Language is in great form. I really expect this kid to start moving up into some of the pro categories for next year. But Hanro van der Sant on this gate in 2022 is once again the man. Van der Sant, confirmation of his big win there, putting about 5 minutes into Language. Mostert, Kutzer, Labuskakny and Petersen taking us to the juicy 6. The S2 amateurs going to be a big mixture of 250 2-strokes and 350 4-strokes. A lot of them remaining on the smokers for these kind of Hare Scramble events. They said they just like the power delivery. So S2 amateurs, Donovan Labuskakny taking a number 6 ride, one of his best runs of the season, with Morné Kutzer on the 528 into the number 5 spot. Labuskakny tagging a 3-lap count, 4 for Kutzer and for Frana Fasaki. Frana, interestingly enough, coming into this series in 2022, was talked about as being one of the championship threats, but it just shows how improved this gate has become and how much more talent has been pushing in there. Frana gets number 4. Miguel da Silva, coming off his best hole shot of the season, only dropped 2 positions in the race as well, going down to a number 3 ride. So great to see this guy also understanding the format of Hare Scrambling and getting it dialed in. Carl Potgieter, who has been pretty much unstoppable the last couple of seasons since he discovered the beautiful thing that is Hare Scramble racing here at Farm Jams. Potty rolled out a brand new 2023 into a number 2 spot. That was still good enough for his title chase. Didn't want to throw it down the road. That meant that we had a change up in the winner's circle. Course Language on the L101. Loving life out here at the dam and putting huge time into the champion that is Potgieter. Check out the difference. 8 minutes come the end of play. Language really put the hurt on Potgieter this time around. De Silva beating out on Fasaki, Kutsa and Labiskakni. Some very improved rides there on that gate. Climbing the ladder then into the S1 amateurs. These guys also smashing all 6, taking 5 laps on the count and very, very close times as well. You'll check that out when we go to the board. Ibn Deploy, good enough to take his machine up to a number 6 ride. He'll be happy with that. Didn't go too far out of the 3-hour bracket as well. 3 hours and 3 minutes come the end of play for 5 laps of racing, with Graham Trembling taking it 3 hours and 1 minute to find his way inside of the top 5. Ryan Fasaki on the 396 was just up the road inside of the 3 hours, 2 hours 59 for him, with the number 4 position. And Aston Allen, love this guy's riding style, like his attack, like his approach. The whole setup is absolutely dialed. Aston Allen walking away with a 3rd place. That should see him running inside the top 3 for the title chase as well. Jason Lightfoot pulled the pin, had get a really good hook off the line, got his first hole shot as well, and ran the numbers all the way until the closing stages, in fact, having to bow down and roll over to a 2nd place finish in the end, because Ruan Rousseau walked away with the big victory. You could see that he'd gone down a couple of times, lost his goggles along the way, but he was good enough to survive the dam to stand on the top step come the end of play. It was around about a minute and a half ahead of Lightfoot. Allen, Fasaki, Trembling and Deploy take us to the 6th, but an incredible race between Rousseau and Lightfoot for the top podium. Into the age group categories now, starting things out with the Masters category. Marty Poole was there with the number 6 ride. He absolutely loves racing whatever it is, and he enjoyed the 50-50 split on the track here at the Dam. Pierre Smith was up the road from him in a number 5 spot, and normally inside the top 5 we would be talking about the Juice. That's Hua Stassen from Subaru Nelspruit, but unfortunately a spider bite putting him out. And what a time to lose out on a race, double points. That's going to see the Juice dropping out of the top 6. That's an unfortunate twist of fate. Anton Blicknort was down there in a number 4 spot, which meant in the top 3 it was the standard option runners once again all over each other. Tony Krief walking away with a number 3 spot. For 2022, Tony has done an amazing job working on his fitness, his form, his setup on his bike, and he knows exactly how to get the best out of all of them. 3rd place, and that will cement him inside the top 3 for the title chase as well. It was a fair chunk off the back wheel of the guys that have been running the pace in 1s and 2s though. 2nd place for Kirky, and that's an incredible story simply to see this guy riding. He has been flat out man down in the hospital for many, many weeks. He knew this was an important race though, so came out, discharged himself, and got the points for 2nd place. That should cement his 2nd place in the series as well. The whole year he's been dicing it out with Rudy Kavina, and Kavina once again put the hurt, and I do mean the hurt, on Kirky this time around. 4 minutes is massive when you talk about these guys who are normally separated by just a few seconds. Kavina and Kirk were, as always, the class of the field, putting massive time into the rest. But Kavina, the final win, cements him at the top as the champion. Confirmation of Kavina winning out at the Dam ahead of Kirky. Krief, great ride to put some time and comfort between himself and Blicknort in 4th place, ahead of Smith and Pooley in 6th. Staying with the age group classes and talking about the seniors, and as you'll notice as I talk through the top 6, no sign of Yanni Potgieter, who went down hard in the race, unfortunately, not being able to make the finish on lap number 1. PJ Ruth walks away with a 6th place ride, normally out there doing a lot of course marking, so cool to see him actually get to go out there and race a little bit. Leonard DeSantos, cool to see this guy as well. He just loves this racing format. We see him out here. He's always got the big smiles going. He's got a solid setup on his machine, and 5th place will also see him probably stay inside the top 5 for the championship. Mark Paul on the P101 takes us down to the edge of the dam, and cool work from the camera crew from Live-X getting out there to some of the tech zones, some of the far reaches of the course as well. And sometimes that's what the riders want. They want a little smiling face, a happy camera, and someone to show off to. 3rd place, you don't have to point a camera at this man to make him go fast. Andrea Casillo has been large and in charge for the last couple of seasons, and another rider who does do really well on the tech zones, but actually credits the Farm Jam with getting his flatland speed up as well. And that's the whole idea of mixing things up in the Hare Scramble format. Cassillo was third. Marco Cocci taking a number 2 ride. You'd think he'd be able to actually run a little bit higher up the road, but there was one man who was just a smidge faster than him, and I do mean that. It was less than a minute come the end of play between Cocci and Hugo Leroux, who went on to take the final win of the season, and an important one at that, because it's potentially going to change up the championship positions. But good run for Cocci. He's been rock solid inside the top 3 all season long. Hugo Leroux on the number 700 was simply in a league of his own. To put a minute into Cocci on a track like this, that's good running. Here's confirmation of Leroux and an important victory at the closing stages of the season. Beating out, putting 1 minute into Cocci. Cassillo, close, but no cigar. Third place for him this time around, and the rest taking us to the top 6. That was a close dice though. Into the pro category, starting things out with, in old money, the 2 fitties. 4 strokes, that is. Jean-Andre Bosch, who's starting to really understand how to get the best out of himself and the Husky. Like watching this guy ride. Super attacking rider. Alru van der Westhuizen, although he's got a 250 4-stroke in his back pocket, he went back and grabbed the smoker for this round. He said it was a little bit tech. He wanted a lighter bike that he could dance around, and he was the first inside the top 4 to be able to make a 5-lap racing count. Ruben Peters, also super attacking rider, able to run a little bit further up the road. In fact, putting 15 minutes into Alru van der Westhuizen, showing that the top 3 on this gate were in a class of their own. Peters is a wild rider, bar none. Josh Johnson, it's incredible to see the stature of this kid. We used to talk about him racing on 65s and 85s, and just look at that monster now, back dwarfing that little Yamaha, but the pace is still there, the magic is still in the right wrist. Johnson with a number 2 spot. But turning up off the gate, pulling the whole shot, and chasing down not just the S2 Pros, but also all of the S1s. Peltzer goes on to record another overall victory and cement his place at the top of the charts in the S3 Pros. Peltzer putting 11 minutes into his closest rival. That was Johnson on the day. Peters, Alru van der Westhuizen, and Bosch take us to the top 5 finishers, but that was a dominant performance from Peltzer. Climbing the ladder then into the S2 Pro category. No shots of the devastator Devin Smith. The reason for that is, even though he got the whole shot on lap number 1, he went down in a blaze of glory, broken arm. Only get credited with finishing the 1 lap. He actually rolled through the pits, so he did come into the pits, so he gets scored on the 1 lap. That's important for the championship, but that's a 4th place, his lowest ride of the season. David Kutzer was a number 3 ride on the day, with Peter Delport taking 2nd place. That's one of his best rides of the season as well. That'll help him move up in the championship points. Should give him 2nd place on the numbers as well. And then a great story on the day, a kid that has been looking for the magic, and he found it here at the dam. Vernon Nordier for the 444 Power Sport Squad on the 615 350 Husky gets his first big win of the season at the final time of asking. Double points also sees him climb the ladder big time. Congratulations to Nordier, confirmation of his big win out of the dam in the S2 Pros ahead of Delport Kutzer, and that 1 lap counting for Smith could be very important. Last but not least then, the S1 Pro Big Bangers, where Logan Berger, riding out of the dirt Yamaha squad, did a good job as well. He was flying the flag solo this time around for the squad, taking a number 5 ride, and another rider that showed constant improvement throughout the 2022 season, developing his machine and his riding style. JC Nienauber, 4th place. He was racing for the overall win and the S1 Pro category win until the last lap, when he also went down huge. We are happy to report he is okay. Couple of scratches, couple of broken bones, but he'll be back on the big Kawasaki soon. 4th place though will give him a good points haul and keep him in the hunt, but it was no glory this time around. Aldo Lowe has been running inside the top 3 the whole way through the season and flying the flag really well for the Sherco boys. He likes to rock out there on the big 300, and he's one of the few Sherco riders that is good enough on the flatland stuff as well as the tech to run with the big dogs. Lowe would have been happy with his performance out here at the dam, as well as his performance for the 2022 season. Kept a lot of key players very honest. And then someone buy this man a beer, because Matthew Reynolds came out of absolutely nowhere for the final round. He's been one of those revelation riders that we'll be keeping a close eye on here at Hollywood to see where he's going to go, what he's going to do, and who's going to be picking this kid up, because he's a ripper. Matthew Reynolds out of nowhere, second place at the double points round final of Farm Jam. But on the day and on the season, it was all about Ruan Smith. It's been good to see him find his magic once again, getting the pickup from tracks on the gas, getting out there on the 300. He's been swapping machinery a little bit, but for Farm Jam, he loves this machine, loves the setup, and the numbers tell the story. 5 laps, walked away with the top 3 in the overall, 1 out in the S1 Pros, and walked away with the title. But not just that. When you see the times counted up, it was a huge margin of victory. The biggest margin of victory across all the categories. 2 hours 40 was his time. His closest rival, 27 minutes off his back wheel. The S1 Pros out here at the Dam was the Ruan Smith show. Congrats. As always, after the race, we went and chatted to a few faces.
It was nice, just a bit tough. I got a flat tyre, so I didn't finish. But it was nice, it was very nice, yeah, it was fun.
And you'll be back next year?
Yeah, that's definitely, I'll be next year, yeah, definitely.
How was that for you?
Yes, no, it was lekker. Lekker fast. There's some technical sections, the rocks. There's lots of lurkers, I've got to say. Those were fun, like heading them and then finding out where you're gonna go. But overall, really good track and really fast for today.
Awesome. And we'll see you again next year.
Yeah, obviously. Thank you.
Geez, it was the first 4 laps were okay, and the last lap was terrible. I'd been a little bit sick. I've been in hospital for 3 weeks, so it paid its part in the last lap. But up until then, it was brilliant. So we had such a nice race. It was well organised. It was a great track. I think the Farm Jam team have done amazingly well. So nice way to finish the season, no blood. And thanks to everyone, thanks to the competitors, thanks to the guys in the pits. They made it a special year. Well done.
Awesome. Cool words from our Farm Jam family. Now, this is what it was all about, 2022. Here's your champions. Trophies are one thing, but titles mean a lot. And what it means is, everyone knows who was the best, not at one race, but for the entire season. It was great to have a full end of season prize giving at the Dam. Everyone was out there to celebrate. Let's start things off with the 50cc's that was dominated by one rider, Declan Richards. He hammered the nail on the rest of the competition to have the perfect year. Congrats to our first Farm Jam Hare Scramble champ, Deck.
No, it was very fun. I just want to say thank you for my team to support me so much. Thank you. Thank you.
This is where it starts. This is the future. And then, new for 2022, a brand new initiative, the 65cc Juniors, allowing new blood to come in and not have to race the pros. The main man, Jean Blanche. 8 points his advantage come the end of play.
Dis my eerste keer en dis my eerste jaar op die 65, maar ek is baie happy, want ja, en die baan was lekker, dit was flowy. My dad, my mom, my brother was a big supporter, en ja, baie dankie.
Gotta love these kids. It's for some of them, the first time talking on camera. This is where it all starts. For the 65cc pros, this was an amazing season for GJ Kutsia, who smashed it out of the park, beating some massive hitters and putting 4 points come the end of play into Mackenzie Bam. GJ is your champ of the 65cc pros.
It was very good for the race. Thank you for all my teammates, and it was a very good season.
Certainly was. This guy's on his way up big time. Expect to see him potentially jump up onto an 85 next year. He may even slot in with these guys. The 85cc Juniors, our biggest ever entry on the gate in 2022, where Willem Jacobs walked away with a win on the season over Trompie. Willem Jacobs is the champ.
Dat was baie lekker. Dat was 'n baie lekker jaar vol lekker races. Ek wil vir PC Racings dankie sê vir elke Sondag en Saterdag se oefening wat ons elke dag saam geoefen het.
Up to the 85cc pros, these guys go on the big course as well. It's been a 2-horse race and it went down to 2 points come the end of play. Stian van der Heever, the stalker, by way of winning the final race, beat out on his rival, Big Mig.
Nee, het was baie lekker. Ek wil net dankie sê vir my pa en vir Paul van die kerk met al die reëlings en help vir ons.
Amazing racing. Sometimes, depending on the course, the 85 pros throwing down the fastest laps. They had to go up against the ladies on that track. And once again, the reigning queen becomes a two-time queen of Farm Jam, Catherine Mostert, the perfect score. And Von der Moe, one of the surprise packages of the season, but it's Queen Mostert reigning once again in 2022.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed this year so much. I've been actually lucky to win this. I'm really putting in the hard work to get the championship, and I'm looking forward to next year and to see what it brings for me. And I love that all the ladies are joining this racing, and the ladies class are growing so much.
And race on race, they are getting closer to her back wheel. But for now, the two-time champ heads into 2023 looking for the three-peat. Checking out the threes, S3 novice, all about Jerome Stubbs. Another perfect score for Stubby. Where's he heading in 2023? Only time will tell, but this year was a banger.
I'd love to thank my parents for making all of this possible. Tracks for the year, loved it, the best. 150, the only way to go.
Jerome Stubbs, star of the future. He really owned it this year. S2 novice, this category has been owned by Lauren Shangwan. 2 points short of the perfect score, and Neil Olofsson did start coming on strong towards the end of the season. But congrats to Shangwan, your S2 novice champ in 2022.
Very nice. Tough, some races, especially the last one, but overall it was very nice.
This is why we do it. We have a ton of categories. Wherever you fit, that's where you find your home. The S1 novices, the big bangers. Close category this time. Greg Parkin dropping down. He had a chance of taking the title. This time it went to Marnus Dixon. Can he hold the number one plate all the way through next year? Let's tune in next year and find out.
Dit was baie lekker geweest. Die begin was bietjie stadig geweest. Dit het beter geraak en ek was gelukkig genoeg om 'n nuwe fiets te kry en dit was vandag nou net genoeg geweest om my eerste te laat kom. So verseker is volgende jaar eerste een is ons daarso. Daar's hy, baie dankie.
What we should have asked him was which colour shirt, or t-shirt should I say, he was going to race in next year. Bring on the guns. S3 amateurs, as we move up into the amateur ranks, Raymond Language. The Languages supporting Farm Jam in a massive way. Just a 2-point win, but that's all it needs to take the title. Raymond Language on the top.
It was very nice. It was rough this last race, but I managed to push through.
Excellent. Who would you like to thank?
For the Vans racing team and my dad and mom.
Excellent. And next year you'll be here?
Yes, definitely.
Excellent. Can't wait to see.
I think this guy is going to go pro next year. He's definitely got the skills to pay the bills. Up into the S2 amateurs, this category has been dominated the last few years by Kyle with style Potgieter. He didn't have it all his own way, but he is a true champion, loves the sport, and a real dominant performance once again in 2022. Kyle Potgieter, 2 number 1 plates.
Yeah, great year, great racing, safe. They've got a system going here that works. Safest racing there is in the country at this point in time. Hard work though. They've got a caliber going that no one else has got going, and that's why they pull the numbers. They do what they got to do, and that's why we're here. We do what we've got to do. Is that even a question? Come on. We back, 100%.
He's definitely brought some style, some flair, and some rock and roll to Farm Jam. Love seeing Kyle Potgieter on the line. We'll see him back here next year. Up into the S1 amateurs, these guys throw down some big laps that could challenge the pace of the pros. Lightfoot came on strong this year in 3rd, Aston Allen in 2nd, but it was Ruan Rousseau on the top 6 points his advantage. His first ever big number 1 plate. For the Masters category, 2-horse race throughout the year, and then towards the end of the season, Kavina started to show his dominance. Kirky, yeah, a little bit under the weather the last couple of rounds, but a ding-dong battle. Kavina and Kirky. This year, Kavina. Next year, anyone's bet.
It was quite tough, with Sean chasing me all the way. No, it was a hard race. He's fit and he's on the pipe the whole time, So, but it was great. It was good fun, Yeah, for sure we'll be here. We'll try, yeah, definitely.
Wonderful respect between the champions. He knows he was in a battle all year long. But Kavina, this time, came out on top. For the seniors, Hugo LaRue was right there at the end. And check out the numbers. This is our closest points battle between Kochi and LaRue. It came down to the final round. LaRue edging Kochi by 1 skinny point. LaRue on top.
Yeah, I didn't do the whole year. I only started on the 2nd or 3rd race of the year. Yeah, it ended quite well, and yeah, very nice event. Nice people, nice crowd.
Congrats to Hugo, but Kochi will be coming into the pro categories. A lot of the times on certain courses, the little bikes go faster than the big ones, and that truly was the case for Ryan Peltzer, who hammered his competition, putting huge points and time into the rest at every single round.
It was good. Enjoyed every race. I love coming down this year to the farm jams, so it gives you a bit of everything. Unfortunately, I missed 1 round due to a national, but hopefully next year they'll all be clean. And yeah, I'd just like to say thanks to my sponsors. Without them, it wouldn't be possible. And my parents, my sister, my girlfriend, and yeah, thanks to Leon for a really good series.
Peltzer was the man on a number of occasions, beating out the bigger bikes. Some of those bikes were on this gauge, the S2 Pro category, even though he punched the tree hard enough to break his hand and his arm at the final round. Devastator Devin Smith is once again on top, a 2-time champ here at Farm Jam.
I hit a tree there and broke my arm, man. Yeah, I broke my hand here. Yeah, definitely. So it's good to be a 2nd time in a row for a Farm Jam champ. So next year we'll be definitely here again. So yeah, that's a surprise. So yeah.
He could line up with these guys in the S1 Pro bangers. Rowan Smith back on top. It's been a long time coming, something like 3 seasons since we've seen Rowan Smith take a big number 1 plate, and he will be pumped to know that he's earned his step back on top.
I really enjoyed the race today. It was an awesome event. We had some few river crossings and had some few moments as well. Hit a local too, but luckily we got home safe with the number 1 plate. Really enjoyed the event. Just a big thanks to Leon and Melissa and the whole Farm Jam team. They really cater for every single rider, for the professional rider going for practice, and for all the weekend warriors and just the guys wanting to practice or go out for a family day. It was really amazing. Huge shout out to all my sponsors, Mark Henderson, Dunlop, Liquor Moly, Gas. It was Tracks that sponsored me the Gas 450 and 300 for the Farm Jam events. The 300 suited me much more for round 2 to round 5, and which helped me to get that number 1 plate for the season. Just thank you to Rian and for all the mechanics that helped me prepare for the event. as well for NCAT Engineering, my girlfriend, and my dad for being there all the way, so running up and down in the pits and just supporting me all the way. Thank you.
So those are the names and faces of the champions. But what about the crew and everyone behind the scenes?
Yeah, look, the year's been good to us. We had a good year of Farm Jam. We've tried our new Hare Scramble series, and it works. The guys love it. It's a safe type of racing. It tests the guys' skills. It's hard. It's not easy, but it's in a way that everyone can do it. And I think a lot of people have learned a lot of new riding skills through the year. I think it's been good. Numbers throughout the year was good. I think the guys enjoy it. Next year is a new year again. We'll have 6 races for next year. We got a new sponsor, Fuchs-Sulkulin, that came on board for next year. They'll be involved. I'm sure Dunlop will still be involved. We are open to anyone else that wants to get involved with Farm Jam. And we are excited. We got a lot of plans for next year, and we'll be looking forward to seeing everyone out here again. Look, I'm definitely not the face for Farm Jam, but I'm always getting the job of handling the mic. But it's, there's so many people to thank for this, because we run this out of our shop basically. My boots Ron, he's my main guy here. He lays out the track. He does the most of the work on that. His wife Elrika, she does all the timing and entry and all of that stuff. Melissa, my wife, she's always busy with organizing the medics and the toilets and all that stuff. So it's a partnership for us all. We're in this, and we love working like that. Then we still got all our marshals. We got Dion, that's always a marshal. We got our marshals, the guys that work at the shop that's out here on a Saturday in the sun marking the guys' stickers. There's so many guys to thank, and I know everyone that helps us do this because they love the sport. And the sport's growing, so I love it.
What a way to end the season. A double points finale at Middleburg Dam to close things out for the 2022 Farm Jam Hare Scramble Championship. We've crowned champions, we've found new blood, new talent, new names and faces. A couple of guys got the cheese, a couple of guys got the bacon. Some guys got a wealth of experience that they'll bring to the line for next year. So tune in, follow us, and find out what goes down for the longest running off-road Hare Scramble series in the country, Farm Jam. Based out in Mpumalanga for 2023, will bring even more to the table for the new season. So train hard, get those bikes squeaky clean, line up on the gate, and we'll see you out there to see what you can do at the Farm Jams and become part of the family. All of this Farm Jam racing action was proudly brought to you by Vans Racing in association with Subaru Nelspruit. So as you can see, we are in the closing stages now of all the championships. The Farm Jam is wrapped up, and we're in talks now to see if we can put together for you guys a really cool championship edit. So we're going to see if we can swing something for you. You know me, I always try and figure something magical out for the end of the season. So you guys have got something cool to unwrap for December. otherwise, we're getting ourselves ready to go forward into the final round of the GXCCs. Still haven't heard from Viana Miranda where we're going to go racing, but we know it's going to be somewhere absolutely cool. And no doubt the reins will be on us for that final round. For now, and to all the Farm Jammers, the Farm Jam family, I'm sorry I wasn't there for the last couple of rounds. I miss you guys dearly. I'm pumped that you guys are still waving the flag for me, still enjoying the show. The Live-X boys are still making it happen. And Justy, you're doing a banger job on the mic, dude. I'm hearing a lot of good things. So thanks for joining us, guys. Once again, we'll carry on pumping it out there. We're going to get ourselves ready and do a build-up show for the roof, see how that all goes down, and then it's GXCC race time. That's going to be the final round. We'll also do a big highlights package for the GXCC guys. We've already got the big high five from Chris. Thanks as always. So we're going to be pumping a couple of big shows out towards the end of the season before you guys head down to Polito or the coast or the Kruger or wherever it is you're going. There's still plenty more to come. Enjoy, guys.